you try to save every penny, right? So we did not have an office. I did not have a noise cancelling headphone. I was in a coffee shop at one of those meetings, pitching to the bank. The banker was like, "This is not a conducive environment."
Welcome to another episode at 5 at Fintech Hive. Mr. Alok Kumar, co-founder and CEO of Zywa. Welcome to the show, Mr. Alok.
Pleasure to be here, Ali.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. I'm going to start with the questions. Question number 1 is, what is Zywa and how did the idea start?
So Zywa is the first banking platform which is exclusively tailored for Gen Z. That is anyone between the age of 10 to 25 years old in the Middle East and North African region. We are solving the problem of 100 million plus teenagers in the region who are forced to use cash or their parents' credit cards. We do this by offering them a prepaid card which is personalized to their personalities, a gamified app which helps build their financial literacy by doing challenges as well as interacting with their peers, hence building a social element, as well as we are building the largest community for Gen Z in MENA.
So basically what it does is, I'm going to pick an age, 15. Yeah. I want to open a bank. Yeah. I have no idea, no clue how the banking system is. I can start, and then there are challenges and there's financial literacy to teach me all the steps on how to start, correct?
That's right. And this stems from actually my 15-year-old brother who actually struggled to open a bank account in Saudi about 14 months back, right? So it took him about 6 weeks to open an account with the largest bank in Saudi. He was super excited to actually get the card. He got the card. He ripped open the package, and when he pulled it out, he saw his dad's name etched on the card. Nice. And every time he was using the card, the SMS and transaction used to go to my dad's as a feed, and he wasn't very happy with the experience. And that's when I called up Noah, my best friend for 9 years, the best engineer I knew, and said, "Hey, nothing much has changed because we both were born and raised in Saudi less than a decade ago as teenagers. We went through the same struggle. Nothing much has changed. So why not reimagine the entire experience for Gen Z?"
So question number 2 will be, why DIFC, Fintech Hive, and why Dubai?
So 14 months back when we incepted the idea, we were based in Saudi. Noah was actually in US. We were looking at the entire regulatory ecosystem in MENA. 2 things were important to us. First, access to capital. B, a regulatory environment which can help us with the faster go-to-market. Because this is a heavy regulated industry with a lot of capital requirement to actually scale with a B2C business, right? So we explored other regulatory ecosystems all over. We looked at their rule books, guidelines. We figured out that UAE had a more advanced and a structured approach when it came to regulatory ecosystem. The maturity of the system is really, really up the level compared to other parts of the region. And also we found out there were founders in the region who went through the same journey. The fintech ecosystem, especially in the region, is super strong. And we wanted to be a part of the story. We wanted to be part of the journey so that we don't make those mistakes which other founders have made, and we would be actually able to accelerate through our vision.
Moving on to question number 3 is, what were the major milestones or achievements that Zywa was able to accomplish from inception until today?
In the last 14 months, I would say we had 3 major milestones. The first milestone is, ever since we launched our beta application, about 4 months back, we were able to onboard more than 25,000 users from our waitlist into the application. And we are actually walking our talk by actually building the largest community tailored for Gen Z in MENA. And this is super important because when teenagers / anyone under the age of 25 comes into our platform, they find like-minded teenagers or people who they could resonate with, start topics in the Discord channel or online or offline in one of our meetups in schools and universities, and have conversations, have collaborations, which was not possible before. That's the first one. The second one, we were able to get a capital backing of folks like Y Combinator. They found Zywa to be one of the first neobanks to be investable in the region. Goodwater Capital, we got local anchors in the region like Dubai Future District Fund. This would help us to actually walk our vision, which is to ensure that we could tailor our product to the entire Gen Z in the region. Third one, and most importantly, we did all this in 14 months. So we were able to actually stitch together schemes, partner banks, pursue vendors. So we were able to stitch programs together, which usually takes about 24 to 36 months on average. We were able to curb the timelines and actually stitch it. And I believe that has a lot to do with the team's effort. And there are a lot of smart folks working behind the scenes, almost 16/7, to make sure that this comes into reality.
This definitely pushes me to ask question number 4, and that is, in 14 months, you were able to achieve all of this. What does the future hold for Zywa? What are your future goals?
So when we started about Zywa, we were solving the problem of my brother, right? And that was 14 months back. We started out in that trajectory. We started asking ourselves the question, right? So are we a teen bank, a kids piggy bank app, or are we something more? Are we the Revolut or Monzo, or do we want to go through that? And that made us actually ponder really deep into the question. Then we came to a conclusion which was actually different. And how did we do it? It is simple, right? So if you think about innovation, there are 3 types of innovation. One is sustainable innovation. That is when the existing processes, products, or systems are being changed minute by minute. Some are breakthroughs like Revolut or Monzo, who transformed the entire traditional banking to digital banking, and now the incumbents are following them. Then there are disruptive innovation, which is like changing from compact disc to Spotify, which nobody has done in the banking industry. That's what we want to do by reimagining financial services for Gen Z. Because if you really want to serve this segment, you should not be giving them an experience which their grandfathers or fathers were used to. Rather, you need to think from an end customer, walk the journey backward, and figure out a journey and fit products which serves them, rather than building products which are already there and trying to force fit into them. And that's what we want to achieve in the next 12 to 24 months by really disrupting how Gen Z banks starting from the reach.
I'm going to end it with question number 5. What is one advice you would give to any of the audience watching right now who would want to walk this journey of having their own startup?
So the tagline of Zywa is start early. What start early means is we want Gen Z to start building their financial literacy early. We want Gen Z to start managing money early. And for entrepreneurs, I would say start early. If you have any idea and you're young, you should not be thinking twice. You have a huge leverage, huge opportunity. The region is really matured. It's about starting early and moving really fast, which makes all the difference. You don't have to wait to perfect a product. You don't have to wait to raise money from external capital. It's as simple as creating a landing page, selling to the users, and that's what the best way to do is by building a community for your users, getting feedback by starting early and moving fast and being agile about it.
So just take the first step.
Yeah.
Can we end the show with a high five?
Yalla.
Pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much for coming.
Likewise, Ali. Thanks for having me over here.
Thank you.